My name is Esperance. Esperance.
Esperance. Is that how you're supposed to pronounce Esperance?
You can say Esperance.
Esperance.
Yes.
Can I say Esperance?
Experience. It's fine. Only you.
Okay.
Okay. So I am a community leader.
Okay.
All the way from Pretoria, but I'm now staying here. So my expectations are that I learn more about human rights, especially for asylum seekers, refugees, because you find out that as a community leader, you are working so much with the community, and sometimes you don't want to be scratching their own back. Like sometimes they'll come with different kind of cases, and you ask yourself, do these people have the right for this kind of stuff? So I want to know, my expectations are to learn the rights of like refugees and asylum seekers, so that I can speak to the community with confidence and tell them that whatever that you are seeking for, it is your right or it's not your right. Yeah, so that's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Two. Okay, got one, got two.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm here basically, I want to understand more about the state situation, but the state.
The state situation.
So let's say someone passes on, they don't have a will or anything. What process do I have to go through to like find out, let's say they've hidden money somewhere. They don't have a will, and there's nobody coming to tell me if they've got hidden money. So how do I even know? Or does it just go away into the system?
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Sharon. So my name is Sharon.
Sharon.
Yeah. So my expectation to find out, you must make it more clear, at least for me, to understand what is just being released recently by the High Court about birth certificates. I think it's also working together with what you are telling us today. So I want to know more about it. Are the Home Affairs going to help or what?
Any other hands?
Good morning. I'm Adolfo. We are Africa. My question is more general on the expectation of migrant and refugees. I think there's lack of information. And what is the accurate information? Because there's always perceptions, there's always, people say it, but then it circulates everywhere, including it, and they go and they end up in their own hands, or they get arrested because they were told ABCD. So I think there is that. That is what we expect. Yeah, thank you.
So, thank you for sharing your expectations. One thing I can say, I'll try to cover some of them, but maybe not all of them, but we'll see as these 2 days will go. And then, in terms of what I have in plan, or what JJ asked me to have in plan, will be the following. No need to get married in South Africa. No, I'll share the slides. Okay. I'll share the slides. See, like people took out, this is just an intro. Yeah, this is just an overview. Look at your expectations and look at what these are my expectations. Marriage in South Africa, what does it entail? When does it start? How does it function within just the South African ecosystem? Yeah. And then you get married. What happens when you end the marriage? Right? Can you end the marriage in South Africa if you're a migrant? Is that a possibility? And then we're going to look a little bit on our children during this process, because it's another very important element. Parents, they get married because they know that they love each other, and then life happens and they choose to divorce, And then during that divorce process, they like putting the kids one side and the other side, right? No, you belong to me. No, you belong to me. No, I'm taking my child to France. No, you're not taking the child to France. It's going to be here, right? Is in South Africa is protected, including refugees and migrants, right? And then, just under the Constitution creates like the right to equality, creates the right to life, freedom of expression, just administrative action, right to safety and security, the right to access adequate housing, the right to access healthcare services. All of these rights are given, but the Constitution does not give how practically these rights should be implemented on the ground and by whom. Yeah? So, then we have another layer, it's called legislation. These are laws that are passed here in Parliament next door. Yeah? Or it used to be Parliament. So legislation is just like what they call acts. Yeah? Like your Refugee Act, your Immigration Act, and also we have your Marriages Act in South Africa, and also we do have a Wills Act as well. So now these acts, they speak on, okay, who has to do what and how these things have to be done. Does that make sense? Yeah? So we've got the Constitution, it's more of a guiding document. And then in terms of the implementation of the rights in the Constitution, they can be implemented by the legislation. But also the legislation can be very vague at times. Yeah? It will say this thing, and then someone else interprets it this way, and then another person interprets it that way, and then you find there's inconsistencies. Yeah? This office is saying, no, you have to do 1, 2, 3. And other office is saying, no, you can't do 1, 2, 3. So when that particular incident happens, where there is a dispute with regard to what the law is saying and how the law should be implemented, and how the Constitution is saying that people should implement the law, right? Then we have what we call case law, right? You know, like the South African courts, right? The High Court, Constitutional Court. There's many decisions that come out of those courts, and also that come out talking about immigrants who are coming from other countries or in South Africa, refugees in particular, and how those rights are protected and how they should be protected. And in most of those times, the courts, in terms of case law, the decisions that they make, they become law. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah? So we've got the Constitution, which is the highest, the supreme law of the land. It gives birth to legislation. Whenever the Constitution and the legislation, there's like a misinterpretation of these two, either by government officials or by South African citizens, those matters would usually go to court, and then the court will resolve those matters, and you can actually use case law to advance your rights that are probably not clear in legislation, but the Constitution guarantees. Yeah? So the courts and the Constitutional Court, they are the safeguards of South African Constitution. Let's say customary law? Yes.
It's like, an example would be, when you get married traditionally, you know, border, that's recognized by your culture as law. Then the court will also recognize that marriage without you really need to go to an extra step.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. Customary law is law that is practiced culturally. It usually applies to us black people. Yeah. Because we do the local negotiations, right? And then on top of customary law, we have religious law, because there are certain marriages that are also concluded in a religious manner, right? Such as Muslim marriages, such as Jewish marriages, such as Hindu marriages, where they are a bit separate from the customary element, right? These marriages are religious, right? Or concluded in a religious manner. Yeah? Okay, and then, so something that we, as an organization, we try to move away from. You know, everyone says you've got the right to. You know these rights everyone talks about? But so as an organization, and part of why we exist is, in our paralegal course, we don't teach people that you've got the right to. We teach people to say, you know you have the right, but now how can you exercise that right and how can you enforce that right? And we try to give people the tools and the knowledge to enforce the rights, not to know them. Yeah. I remember when growing up, just up in the 1990s, yeah, when they started the South African Constitution back in school, they would always make us read the Children's Bill of Rights. Yeah? We all sing together, I have the right to food. So from young age, I've been taught like I have the right to. Yeah, it's everyone. But how do you implement them? How can you use them? How to implement the rights with which proper institution? So that's what we try to address as a constitution. But as a country party, but also before 1994 there was no such as a word as rights in South Africa. Right? This word right to only came after 1994. Before then, during apartheid, no one had rights. Yeah? It was just a law. So this thing of having human rights, this thing of rights, it's only been what, 32 years now since democracy. So it's a very new thing of having a right to something. Yeah? And our constitution is the first one in South Africa to express rights and to say everyone has the right to, which has now become very difficult because that word everyone, some people think it's only South Africans. So it doesn't say South Africans, it says everyone. In the court over and over. How does marriage look back home? And what does it mean back home? Right? Yeah? Yes.
You want to know how it looks?
I want to understand how it works. How it works. Yes. Not how it looks. How does it work back home?
Actually, back home, many people.
And where is home?
Home for me is Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yes. Now, when I got married, we did everything. We first had a civil marriage.
Okay.
Then we had a traditional marriage. Then we had a white wedding ceremony. So that we were covered everywhere. So, but what tends to happen in most African countries, which I'm sure the same thing applies here in South Africa, once many people pay the lobola, as far as they're concerned, they're married.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is
yes.
But if you don't pay the lobola, the family does not recognize.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the reason why we had the three ceremonies. We had the civil ceremony so that we were legal in the eyes of the law.
Okay.
We had the traditional ceremony so that we were legal in the eyes of the family.
Okay.
And then we had the white wedding so that we're legal in the eyes of God. You understand? So what tends to happen, which I've seen happen a lot, is people have the lobola ceremony, they have a white ceremony, but they don't have a civil ceremony. So a civil ceremony, you understand? So the woman is going around saying, I'm Mrs. This, I'm Mrs. That. But the crunch tends to happen when things like the man dies. And a story recently happened in our country like that. This man was married to a lady. They had been married and then he divorced. He left his wife of goodness knows how many years. And he started dating this other one. Both a very highly accomplished law. And the woman he started dating was actually a lawyer with a master's degree in law. And she was going, and the man was a wealthy man. She went around and Mrs. X, Mrs. This, everybody recognized her for the past 25 years as Mrs. This and Mrs. That. Now the man dies in 2020 and they hadn't had a civil wedding. So just like 2-3 weeks ago, the court ruled that his first wife must receive the property. So So that's why you have to tidy up the bases with the law.
Thank you so much for sharing.
But we pay more attention to the culture. The customers need to feel beautiful.
And it's not like that stress to the Lobola. There is something to start with. It depends on the culture. There are some people they start by pre-Lobola.
Okay.
Yeah, so when the men and the women meet together, they have to present the men to the family of the woman. And after that, they have to pay the pre-Lobola. And after the pre-Lobola, they have to pay the Lobola. And after the Lobola, then come all those things, the marriage, what was yes.
Okay.
The two,
The
the
civil
last two.
And the religion one.
Yeah. Not the religious,
The
the white and the civil.
White and
Yes, you actually can. You understand? When I was saying those 3 dates, I didn't mean that they have to happen on 3 separate.
You go to court or home affairs, you get a notice of some sort, and then they bring that notice to the church. You understand? So we did the civil, we did the pre-thing, and then at the white wedding itself, we had to sign the documents. And the weddings that we've conducted in our church, that's what happens. We get he comes, and when the pastor finishes, he signs. And everybody who's supposed to sign signs. So it doesn't have to happen on over 3 or 4 different days, but you have to get a notice from the courts or from the licensing office, wherever they are. So that's it.
Okay. To some of those, right? So, firstly, in South Africa, we do have what you guys have spoken about, the civil marriage. Yeah, I'm just going to give out the names for now. We've got the civil marriage, which is, I'm sorry about my font, it's very small, né? You can't see it. I'll make it big tomorrow, né? Yeah? Customary marriage is also recognized by an act. Yeah? The Recognition of Customary Marriages Act. Yeah? Only in 1998. Yeah? Yeah. Only, this is 1998, yeah? And then the civil marriage, you get the difference? 1960? Yeah? So this one only after 1994. 1998, which means only after 1994 when we got democracy. Yeah? And then we have what we call now a different one. We've got the civil marriage. Then we have this thing called the civil union. Yeah? I'll explain later. But this one is of 2006. Yeah? And then we have Muslim/religious marriages. Yeah? So Muslim/religious marriages are marriages that are concluded under Muslim Sharia law and also under the Hindu marriages law, right? And also Jewish traditional marriages. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we've got these almost like main 4 groups of different marriages in South Africa. Let's check what's next here. Okay, I have to explain this. So let's start off with the civil marriage. Yeah, it's one man, one woman. Yeah,
Yes.
shall be joined in union and become one. Yeah? Not one man, 3 women. Yeah? Not multiple wives. That's against in the eyes of the Lord. Yeah? Yes, you have a question?
Civil marriage, Act from 1961. It says signed before marriage officer.
Yeah.
Christianity.
Oh, no. This is a typing error. That's a typing error. Don't worry about that one. Yeah. The typing error.
I just say I just sure.
So civil marriage influenced by common law principles, one man, one woman, yeah. Influenced a lot by Christian values, especially the Catholic Church, yeah. So the development of marriage within South Africa, right? So the development of marriage within South Africa was primarily in that very narrow understanding of what a marriage is. Yeah? Now, that particular marriage, remember I said, influenced by church and tradition, and the biggest church at the time was the Roman Catholic, right? And all of the other churches that came after, right? The Roman Catholic, but they had a really big influence, yeah? So, believe it or not, under that system, yeah, you as a woman now, do you feel equal to your husband? You are not equal. No, like under the, I'm just asking, you're not equal to your husbands. Do you feel, we have an example now, I'm superior than my husband. Can you share? You've been nodding your head, no, like, yeah.
Yes, that inequalities mean is the power that is in the man that God gave him since we don't know. So we can't change it. How to change it? Because it's not us, or it's not even also the constitution or the law that make the man to be on top or superior than the woman.
Interesting. Yes, you can.
So sometimes when we speak about equality, it doesn't mean that there's a power imbalance. So if there's no equality, it doesn't mean that there's a power imbalance. Sometimes yes, I'm not equal to a man because there are some aspects that a man has that I would have, and there are aspects that I have that a man doesn't have. So obviously,
It goes down to day-to-day duties. A man is perceived as they must wake up and go work to provide for the family. And the type of jobs that men do, most ladies cannot do. Mining. I'll give you an example. Mining. Trench digging. Mechanics. I'm just saying. Mixing cements. Most ladies will not want to go to that department. And it's a true fact. So it all goes down back to day-to-day duties. A man is supposed to wake up and go work hard to provide for their family. Whilst the lady, yeah, she can go work.
So basically you're saying we're not equal?
We're not equal.
Okay. Hey, can I have this hand quickly and then noted yours? Okay.
I would look at like how my great-grandparent was. My grandfather and my grandmother both worked. They were considered being radical at the time.
Oh wow.
Because they were married in the 60s, had kids 70s, 80s. So like my granny going to work around that time was going to, you allow your wife to work, she's going to walk on top of your kids. That's the type of comment for kids, right? But then you find my grandfather's brother, as much as he was struggling financially in a situation, he never let his wife go to work. She was not allowed to do any type of work. She would, sell tomatoes on the side and be like, I'm not working, it's just for my budget, right? To help out. But if you look at now, there's also homes where it looks like, oh, everybody can go to work, it's accepted. But then in the different homes you find that, no, this person doesn't want me to work. And even though you have the rights.
But the person that you're married to doesn't. Okay. Just before your hand.
Just men remind just the names. Because he's the only
Equal.
Now, God said there is the head of the house and the man must submit. But God also said both husband and wife must submit to each other.
But there's Old Testament and Second
Okay.
Testament.
They are common law systems, okay? From the Dutch and the English. So when they brought the system here in South Africa, it said line between religion and culture, especially where that religion comes from. Make an example. In Western culture, which is Europe, we have this concept of white wedding and the wedding in the church. The white wedding element, the white dress element, it's a cultural thing that became accepted. Right? In Islam, Islam is influenced by Arabic culture. Yeah? So the practices, the food, right? It's Arabic in nature, but influence also the religion. Does that make sense? Yeah. So now this thing comes in South Africa, and it comes with the thing of saying one man, one wife. But the traditional peoples of South Africa, they would have one man, multiple wives.
Girlfriends.
Wives.
Let's not go to.
Okay. Now, one man, multiple wives. Now, the civil marriage system says a woman cannot own a property even before the civil marriage. Men, a woman could not even own anything whether she was married or unmarried. The culture will tell them no. The system and the law will tell them currently no. But if they go to court, they recognize yet. Yet. So, if you sometimes this one is for people who are not so religious, that they don't want this like religious background of this one. So civil union is there for people also who are not same-sex couples. And then it's the Muslim and religious marriages. Yeah. Okay. Now there's certain things that will make in South Africa. And yes.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add to the civil union. There's also community of property support and.
We're gonna go to community. What those means. Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly now skim through these because I think in a lot of these explanations. So in all of these marriages, there's like in South African law for it to be recognized as legal now. Previously in the past, I don't know in your countries, in South Africa we had a practice of forced marriage, which is called utwala. So many of our grandparents, that's how they would get married. So it was usually negotiated between the parents and the uncles behind the scenes, where they would say to a girl, hey, go fetch water from the river. When you guys decide to go as a couple, they say, hey, no, let her go alone. It's a punishment. When she goes fetches that water in the river, there are men waiting for her. They will snatch her, take her to the husband's house, new husband's home, not away. We can say, hey, well, become our wife.
So was it done in consent with the parents?
Sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Because I thought it was like a criminal kind of thing.
No, I'm talking about the history of it. I said, remember when I said our grandparents, they went through this situation, most of them. So Ubutwala just means to carry it. We've been carried into marriage. So people will be carried into marriage and told this is your new husband. If your parents consented or not consented, but this guy's family has now the responsibility to go to your family and say, hey, we've taken your daughter. She's there now. We're here to negotiate.
No. I'm gonna shoot them.
Okay. I've got two hands. Yes.
So just they took you without knowing that man.
Yeah, without knowing that man.
They just bring you, this is your man.
This is your man, yeah.
What?
I remember, yes.
Does your parents or your family have the right to say no, bring my daughter back?
They. Okay. Can you want to answer?
Yeah, can I answer that? Back then, I'm going to say things virginity was very like a thing of pride, and if that child, that girl, would be taken by the other family, and then him and the other guy, consequence, they married, whatever. So the parents, the actual parents of the girl will not be able to take the girl back to the family because she would have been defiled then. So the family will have to lower her. No matter what, because now she will be belonging, there will be a black tie into that family. So when our grandmothers
Like, okay, if let me say, if my family, as Christians, there is a certain thing that we are practicing and my children see us practicing. So even if it happens, it won't be a thing of surprise, because they'll be knowing that this is how we do things. So I would like to think that even our grandmothers, they knew that this is what is happening. So I think each time you will be sent to the river, not as a punishment, you will be walking there,
But with us, it's like one village here, a few houses, and then you walk like 10, 20 kilometers to the next one.
Yeah.
Over mountains and over valleys. Yeah. So it was difficult for people to see each other and say, hey, I love you, hey, you look nice, you know? So, because that's how they did things, and there was not this thing of dating.
But not allowed.
People were not allowed to date, so it's just, I see you today. And I'm like, you be my wife, I'm sending my uncles at your thing. Yeah? No, it used to be like that. I see you today, I'm like, hey, I want to make you my wife. I'm sending my uncles. That's how it worked. It wasn't like, oh, I love you, how are you, I'm checking up on you. No, it was like, tomorrow I'm sending my uncles to your house. Yeah? So, and then also, there was a different understanding of marriage, and how women were taught back then, with this issue of having a problem being snatched or taken. The woman was understood or taught or groomed in the context of your role is to get married one day.
Yes.
And your role is to go build. You are not, they would even sometimes tell you, you are not permanent here. Your role is to get married and bring cows into this family. Does that make sense? So that's the context. So when the woman goes to the next family, she's like, oh, now I'm fulfilling my role. Yeah?
You can get married to that person. And then does the child remain yours, or now it becomes
The
child
husband's.
of, yeah.
And I said,
So
no.
you say it's no.
Yeah.
But now it comes to that.
It's maintenance, there's difference.
Okay. After taking the passport, she went to change her surname to the husband's surname.
She took a passport from where?
No, from Zimbabwe. Like she was taking a passport.
A Zimbabwean passport?
Yeah, a Zimbabwean passport. After getting married, she used her own ID now because she hadn't gone through that process.
Yeah.
And then her child is surname automatically changed to the
Husband's.
husband's surname because the child used her mother's surname, and then now the mother adopted the husband's surname. So now the child is using
The father's name.
the
Stepfather's name.
So
The
my
stepfather agreed. When you get married, remember you will have a matric certificate. You have a degree before you get married. And then you get married. Then you change everything. You do get a certificate that recognizes that you were previously under this person, under this surname, you are now under this surname. Now that particular certificate, and then Home Affairs will notify certain service providers that are within the Home Affairs that have access to the Home Affairs system, to say so and so has changed. But it's also your responsibility to go to the bank, to have a new bank card, to say, hey, this is a new thing. To go to your old university and say, make me a new degree. But certificate, and your ID says something else. You show that one and say, no, this is really me. Does that make sense? So you don't have to change everything to this man's name. So in your situation, like in Zim, in South Africa, how it would work is that particular certificate will prove that you are the mother of this child. Yeah, you just change your surname to your husband's surname, but your child will remain with your old surname.
Thank you.
It doesn't have to change. So it's like, no, that's unfair to the child. For everyone, it applies to anyone. Anyone. Where there is plausible cause or reasonable cause for you to keep maintaining the other person, which means anyone. Now here's the anyone. Your child who's 21 or whatever, not minor, can take their parents to the maintenance court themselves. Yeah? Also, the parent can take their child to maintenance court.
Right.
Yeah? So, wait. Also, with maintenance of children, if the mother cannot pay for maintenance, or the father cannot pay for maintenance, and the grandparents can pay, you can take the grandparents to maintenance to maintain a child. Yeah? Sorry? You can also ask your sister and brother to maintain you, but it's not easy. So maintenance people doesn't have, yes, we will look at the relationship. For example, if I'm a neighbor and I've got these neighbors next to me, they're very poor, right? And then I decide, okay, the child next door, and maybe they are not just poor, but they use alcohol, and I'm like, hey, but this child is very smart. So from primary school, I take this child from next door with my child, send him to the best school. Now this child is like 15 years old. The only thing they know are these very private schools. And then the child maybe starts drinking. And I'm like, you know what, I'll show you. You've been using my money for 15 years, and I stop paying for the school fees. You know those parents, they can take me to maintenance court to continue paying for this child's private school.
But this thing really happening here in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's my first time hearing it.
Yeah. So the best interest of them, we look at what the child needs, and also what the relationship you have built, whoever you are with the child. Yeah? That's how South African law works, yeah? So both parents will support their children according to their means. They look at the needs, they look at each person's ability to pay. Yeah? So when they calculate maintenance, they take it as like this, right? So for each adult, they're like, okay, like you see me, I wonder the amount of food I eat. Yeah? They say an adult, I don't know where they get this thing, but they say an adult, the amount of food it eats would be like 3 children. Yeah? So I have 1 child, I'm going to maintenance court. Yeah? And I'm like, they ask me, okay, what are your monthly expenses for food, electricity, water, transport? What are the expenses of this child in this household? So I'll put everything, the expenses of the household, and then they'll divide the expenses of the household by 3. Yeah? And then that's how they will get to the maintenance amount of the child to pay. Yeah? And then they operate on a no-fault system. Does that make sense? No-fault system. So when I say no-fault system is, in South Africa, the person does not have to wrong you in the marriage for you to get divorce. Yeah? The person does not have to cheat for you to get divorce. You are tired. I'm tired. Yeah? And also, they don't have to specifically do something to like physically beat you or swear at you, abuse you financially, emotionally for you to want a divorce. No, you can just say, no.
It's not working.
It's not working.
You're not as rich as I thought.
The private room conversation. We are no longer seeing eye to eye. You know? There's no longer like a connection between the two of us. Does that make sense? So the irretrievable breakdown can be, a lot of people always explain it in court. One person explained it in court in 1997. Yeah? This was a very famous person. We all know him. His name was Nelson Mandela. Or his name is Nelson Mandela. So Nelson Mandela divorced Mambo Winnie Mandela.
Yes.
Yeah? When he came out of prison. And then his thing was a public thing, because like everyone wanted to see, hey, Nelson Mandela wants a divorce from Mawini. What's going on? Why? No? And then Nelson Mandela used the irretrievable breakdown clause of the marriage that it's no longer a marriage. His reasons was, when he came out of prison in 1990 on the 11th of February, he says he never spent a single night with Winnie on the same bed. Yeah? Up until 1997, he filed for divorce. But in public, they were like together. Because Mawini at the time had like a Ben 10. You know Dalimbof?
Yes.
Dalimbof is Mawini's ex. Sorry, I'm gossiping, but that
A nice gossip.
it's irretrievable breakdown. No? This mental health institution, you can also file for divorce the moment that person is sentenced to prison. And then the last one is if the person has continuous unconsciousness. No? Continuous unconsciousness, meaning like when someone is in a coma, yeah, for more than 12 months, I think. So if your husband gets into a car accident, goes into a coma, some people will divorce while they are still sleeping there. Yeah? And the law allows that. If they're like, the coma is like, there's no hope. Yeah? But you're still legally married, the person is still alive, but the brain is not. Does that make sense? So, let's leave the others one, the mental health one, the prison one, and the continuous consciousness. Let's go to irretrievable breakdown. Yeah? Where it's just now between me and you as people now, right? We are staying in the same house, but we're sleeping in separate beds. We're staying in the same house, we cook with different pots. We're staying in the same house, we eat with different spoons, everything. We have different TVs. I don't see you, you don't see me, you know? We don't even speak to each other, but we're here. So with that one, there's 3 forms of divorce that you guys, options that you have. The first one is the uncontested divorce. Yeah? So the uncontested divorce is we just sit down and be like, this thing is not working. It's not working. Okay, what can we do? Let's divorce. Okay, sure. What do you want? We're in community of property. Ne? What do you want? I want the house. Okay, I'll give you the house. I want the cars. Right? Okay. You take care of the children? Yes, take care of the children. Okay, I'll pay maintenance of the children this much every month. You ask a lawyer to draft that contract, divorce settlement. You go to court with those papers. We're like, court, we already spoke everything outside of your. Yeah? We are not arguing. We are just divorcing. We are agreeing. Here's the agreement. The court reads it and the court says it's fine. You are divorced. Does that make sense? Audience? Yeah. When I started, you were all like,
Yeah,
Gandhi, you talk, yo.
we observe. Then we will show you.
And then, we're observing. Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope tomorrow will be a wonderful day and safe travels.